Hello children, today I will be doing class 12th Political Science book 2 chapter 4, that is India's external relations. We have already done 3 chapters in which we have covered about 3 challenges after independence. So now after covering the 3 challenges, we will be doing in the 4th chapter about what was the relation of India with the other country. Now first of all we should know who was our first foreign minister. Yes, it was Jawaharlal Nehru. He was Prime Minister also and Foreign Minister also. So first topic which we will be covering in this video, that will be about Nehru's foreign policy. Now Nehru had 3 major objectives in his policy. Let us do the first objective, that was to preserve the hard-earned sovereignty. Now children, I should tell you what is the meaning of sovereignty. Sovereignty means India is not dependent or dominated by the foreign country. India is free to take decision on its own, not under the pressure of other countries in the world. Second objective was to protect territorial integrity. Now children, when Britishers left India, they stated that princely states are independent. Now it was a choice of princely state whether to join India, Pakistan or to remain independent. So Nehruji respected this, what the Britishers said. So no princely state was forced to join India or to remain independent, or they can join Pakistan even. So this was the second objective of Nehru's policy. The third one was to promote rapid economic development. As you know children, now after independence we had limited resources and Britishers has left Indian citizens as the illiterate, no education was given to them. Purposely it was, as you are aware of, so that they will not dominate and they cannot question the Britishers or the interfering in the India. So they were illiterate, unemployed and no other resources. Equality also was not there. So the third challenge was difficult and yet it is going on also, which was our third challenge also. So it was one of the Nehru's foreign policy also. So with the limited resources, he wanted that all of them should enjoy the resources which are available in our country. We will not share it with the other country. Now you all are aware of children that the Second World War ended in 1945 and India got independence in 1947. Now everyone eye was on India when it became independent, that they will be joining which camp, whether they will be joining USA or they will be joining USSR. Because after Second World War, there were 2 big powers in the world. And these big powers, superpowers, they were aligned with the other small countries to show that one is superior than the other. So both of their eye, especially USA and USSR, was on India. Now what India will take decision after independence? Now Nehruji thought of the third option. What was the third option? That was NAM. NAM means non-alignment movement. What is the meaning of non-alignment movement? It itself is giving you the answer to it. That means India will not be joining USA or USSR. it will remain independent and it will work for the development of its country and other developing or underdeveloped countries. They will be sharing with each other whatever disputes are there, or sharing their knowledge, resources, strategies, helping each other military wise also, financially also. Let the other developing countries also and underdeveloping countries and newly independent countries come up and not to be dominated under developed countries. If they will be if they will be going in one of the camps, like for example USA or USSR, they have to follow their ideology. That means indirectly you will be under them. You have to help them whenever they require the military or the financial assistance. So this India did not want it because we cannot afford. After independence, our resources was very limited, which we wanted to use for ourselves, for our country development. So Nehruji really worked for it. Now, there was a controversy for this. They were saying India said that it will maintain equal distance with both the superpowers, but they said it was not possible. India did not do this. I will give you one example like why there was a controversy that India could not maintain the distance equally from both the superpowers. Let's take one example. In 1956, when Britain was attacked by Egypt over Suez Canal issue, India led the world protest against this invasion. But in the same year, when USSR invaded Hungary, India did not join its public condemnation. That means they were saying that they are having good relations with USSR and not with USA. But this was not true. While India was trying to convince the other developing countries, like no, I am not joining in any camp, you all also don't join. That was developing country and underdeveloped country or newly developed country, newly independent country. So India was convincing other developing countries, like no, don't join any of the blocks and you join NAM. Okay, the policy of NAM. The main aim of policy of NAM was to work for your country. Like your country economic development should take place. And the developing countries will be helping each other. So in that time what happened? Pakistan joined US-led military alliance. So US was not happy about India's independent initiative and the policy of NAM. So the United States opposed India growing the partnership with the USSR because they said when USSR invaded Hungary, India did not condemn it. So this was the controversy, but it was not true. Whenever India needed a help, it has taken the help from USA also and from USSR also. And both of them have really helped them also. So this controversy was totally wrong. Afro-Asian unity. See, the word itself is explaining you what we will be doing under this topic. African-Asian unity. Now in this, as you know, due to India's size, location and powerful potential of Nehru, that really played a very important role in the world affairs, especially in Asian affairs. Now his era, he was really capable of having good contact with the newly independent states in Asia as well as Africa. Now for 10 years, Nehru really advocated for Asian unity, so that they will be not exploited by the developed states, the superpowers. So he was trying to convince the newly developed countries and neighboring countries of India that let us use our resources for our development. Why we should join the superpowers? Right? And he really succeeded also in this. Now under his leadership, India organized Asian Relation Conference that held in March 1947. Now 5 months ahead of attaining its independence. Right. Now India was a supporter of decolonized process. What is decolonized process? Means you will be not under the colonial of any other foreign country, and firmly opposed racism, especially apartheid in South Africa. You are aware of that there was a really great discrimination because of the color. Okay, that if they are dark color and they are white color people, like black color, dark color people cannot enter in the white color people locality. They were not allowed to use the public places. In fact, they were written the banners also that dogs and blacks are, be aware of them. They will not be allowed to enter in their society. So like this. So India was totally against it. Now the Afro-Asian Conference held in the Indonesia city of Bandung in 1955, commonly known as Bandung Conference. The Bandung Conference later on led the establishment of NAM. NAM, as I already told you, known as Non-Alignment Movement. So the first summit of NAM was held in Belgrade in September 1961, and Nehru was one of the co-founder of the NAM. Now we'll be doing about the third topic, that is independent India. Now what is the relationship of India with the other countries? Now India said that it's better to have a good relation with at least neighboring countries. World, yes, but first neighboring countries, because they can help us in any foreign invasions with foreign countries, other countries apart from their boundary. So that there will be security also will be there. No fight for the boundaries and territories and all. So this, they really worked on it. So let's do about what is the peace and conflict with the neighboring country, that is recently very highlighted country, that is I think everyone aware of, China. Now in the starting of the independence, now also we have good relation, but after independence really we had a friendly relation with China. And after the Chinese Revolution, which took place in 1949, India was one of the first country who recognized the communist government. Nehru felt strongly about his neighbor that thanks God some country is there who should be supported, who is out of the shadow of Western dominance. So, but his colleagues, Nehru's colleagues, felt that it is a danger for the India, because such an aggressive country coming up in future we can have a danger. But this was wrong. It is not. We are really having a good relation with them. But Nehru thought it is extending unlikely that India will face an attack from China. So if you will support, no Chinese no interference will be there in the country. For a very long time, Chinese border was guarded only by paramilitary force and not by the army. India already had a good relation with China, but you know, to have a really strong relation and bonding, there was an agreement between China and India that is known as Panchsheel Agreement. Now I'll tell you about that agreement. The Joint Declaration of Panchsheel, the 5 principles of peaceful coexistence by the Prime Minister Nehru and the Chinese Premier, that was Zhou Enlai, on 29th April 1954, was the step in the direction of the strong relationship between the two countries. Now, agreement was based, as I told you, the name itself is telling you, Panchsheel. That means 5 principles which both the countries will follow. That was First one was mutual respect for each other, territorial integrity and sovereignty. Like no one will be interfering in their territories and will not dominate they will not force their decision on each other. They are independent to have their own decision. That was first. Second, mutual non-aggression. They will not be aggressive. They both will be having a peaceful relation. Mutual non-interference. They will not interfere in their any internal matters. They will respect. Equality and mutual benefit. Whatever resources, exchange of resources will take place, they will benefit from each other. There will be equality. There is no that one is superior and other is inferior. Both are equally balanced. Fifth one was peaceful coexistence. Like they will be going in their relationship together peacefully. So this was the 5 agreements which took place between India and China in the year 1954. So once again, let me just repeat. That was respect for each other, territorial integrity and sovereignty, mutual non-aggression, mutual non-interference, equality and mutual benefit, peaceful coexistence. The Chinese invasion in 1962. Let's study about this. What was there in that? Why it happened? A boundary dispute has surfaced between India and China. India claimed that the boundary was a matter settled in colonial time, but Chinese said that any colonial decision did not apply. So this was from here, like slowly it was a cold war and it then entered into a full-fledged war. The main dispute was about the western and the eastern end of the long border. About the western side and about the eastern side. China claimed areas within the Indian territories. Acacia chain area in the Ladakh region of Jammu and Kashmir. They are saying that was theirs. Most of the states of Arunachal Pradesh in what was called as NEFA, that is Northeastern Frontier Agency. That was also they claimed that it is theirs. So between 1957 to 1959, the Chinese occupied the Acacia chain of area and built a strategic road there. So naturally India will object to it. So despite a very long correspondence and discussion among the top leaders, these differences could not be resolved. So in October 1962, China launched a swift massive invasion on both the disputed region. Okay, that was one from Jammu and Kashmir and the other side they wanted the Arunachal Pradesh area. So the first attack lasted 1 week and the Chinese forces captured some key area in Arunachal Pradesh. The second wave of the attack came next month from the west front in Ladakh. Now let's see what was the impact of the war of China on India. Now the China war depended India's image at home and abroad. Like India had to approach the Americans and the Britishers for military assistance to tide over the crisis. So the Soviet Union but remained neutral during the conflict. It induced a sense of national humiliation at the same time and strengthening a spirit of nationalism. So it was really humiliating, like no, we have signed a punch sheet but no one, after that also the Chinese have invaded. They did not follow, they did not accept it, the colonial decision which was made when the Britishers left. And in that USSR remained neutral. It did not interfere in it for the India, it did not support India. So it was really humiliating. some of the top army commanders either resigned or were retired. So Nehru's close association and then defense minister who was there that time, he was V. Krishna Menon, had to leave the cabinet. Okay, so Nehru's own image suffered as he was criticized for his native assessments of the Chinese intentions and the lack of military predominance. Like we were not ready with the military strength because we had just came out of the independence and we were not strong enough. And we were thinking in our mind like, okay, we have very good relation, we have signed the agreements, there will be no fights and no war taking place. So for the first time, a non-confidence motion against his government was moved and debated in the Lok Sabha. Now this we are talking about Jawaharlal Nehru Congress Party, which was before independence working. Soon thereafter, the Congress lost some key by-elections to the Lok Sabha. The political mood of the country had begun to change. The war with China altered the Indian leadership to violate situations in the northeast region. Apart from being isolated, and extremely underdeveloped, these regions also presented India with the challenge of national integrity and political unity. You know, in northeast now also there is a local disputes going on, and they are always blaming India, like we are not developed, our resources are used for the economic development, but our region is not developed and the people are not enjoying the benefit of their resources. So the process of its reorganization began soon after the Chinese war. They thought that we have to develop this northeast region. Then what happened? Nagaland was granted statehood. Manipur, Tripura, though union territories were given right to elected to have their own legislative assemblies. So they were given the statehood characteristics. Okay, these will be the state now. Students, let's recall the topics which we have covered in this video. In the starting, we have done about Nehru's foreign policy, right? Then we have done about NAM. Then we did about how we have kept the equal distance from both the superpowers. We also covered about how our relation was there with the neighboring country. Then we did about Panchsheel, which was an agreement between India and China. The last we did about the Chinese invasion in 1962 on India and how the India has taken and control over it, how it ended. And then we have done about what was the impact of the war on India after the China had a war with India. So in this video we have covered these topics. I hope children these topics are clear with you. Thank you.